Guys, we're going to talk about some sharpening stones that I don't recommend, and the problem is they are the most readily available and most popular ones. It's diamond plates, the DMT style plates. Let's turn this around. We're going to take a look at it from above, and I'm going to explain why and another option that you guys should look into. So guys, I'm going to point out why I don't like diamond plates. Now, I'm not trying to say don't buy diamond stones. I hope you didn't misconstrue that with the title. But don't buy these. I absolutely do not recommend these. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't think they're a good value for the money. Now, I'm not pointing out just a specific brand. Just across the board for most sharpeners, these are not going to be what you want. I'll tell you why. With the exception of the Atoma diamond plates. The Atoma diamond plates are done differently. They're bound differently, and you get a lot more life out of these than you will something like this. So there are a lot of diamond stones on the market. I know that there's a lot of different kinds. People have their preferences, the ones they like. I personally think, when we'll talk about this, I personally think that the ones I have in this box, which are my centered and matrix diamond stones, are a much, much better option. These are simply a steel plate that has a thin layer of diamond affixed to it, usually in a layer of nickel or some other binding agent that allows it to adhere to the steel. So now the problem with these are, and we're going to pull one of these out to talk about the difference. The problem with these is that you can see these areas here. Well, that's where the diamond has just kind of started to strip loose. These have one layer of diamond, and once that diamond is gone, you really don't have anything but a steel plate. Now, there are some diamond left on this, and I do use this for certain things from time to time. They do come in handy for certain things like flattening a stone or something like that. Or, you know, knocking, sometimes when you sharpen a knife, you will start to form a little bit of a burr up here at the tip, especially if you had to do a heavy reprofiling on it and remove a lot of material. So I'll use these for that, to knock that tip off, to help with tip repair, or if I'm just trying to do a base, like check the angle of a stone. But I don't use these very often. You run into some problems with them because the layer of nickel or anything that is on them is so thin that you can easily get rust. Now, this rust, this, you know, the iron oxide that forms under this stands up proud from the stone. And so now you can't use this stone at all. I'm going to have to throw this stone away, and you can see it starting to form on this one. And I didn't leave this wet. I didn't leave it somewhere wet. It was in the drawer with the rest of my stones, and it was dry, but it just sat there and just, even in the dry climate of San Diego, rusted. So there's some problems with that. Now, the difference between these and this are, like I said, these are done in a different fashion. There is a much thicker layer of diamond on these, but it will wear out. But Atoma uses a two-piece construction. This is aluminum, and then this is a little screen, as they call it, or film, and it's just glued onto this piece of aluminum, and you can replace this. So this is a perfectly flat block. You can just get a new piece and throw it on there. So these last a lot longer. Now I'm going to show you what I would personally say is a better choice and why. So like I said, on these, you have a single layer of diamond that as it wears away, you lose your grit and abrasion ability on these. There's a couple different kinds. Now, these are called sintered diamond stones. These are done, I got these from Grit-O-Matic. I have two different kinds. I do like to sharpen on these thinner stones. I get the same amount of travel and everything, even on a larger knife, but I don't, these need cleaned really badly. But I don't have the whole stone. I'm not wasting it because this works really well for me. These are the ones that I would put in my pack if I was going somewhere. And the nice thing about these is they're double-sided. But to the point I'm trying to make is this whole thing is diamond. This is done centered in a certain material. And all you have to do is then reflatten this when you feel like you're losing. You can see here I've sharpened a little bit on this. When it feels like it's gotten to where it's not giving you the grit you want, you simply then take like a Nagura stone, and you clean that up. And what you do is you remove an entire layer and you expose an entire new layer of diamond. And you've got diamond from here down to here. And these are going to last. I've had these for years. These wear really well. Another option is if you're comfortable sharpening on these smaller stones like this, are these diamond matrix stones for the Edge Pro system. I use these. I just put them in my hand and I sharpen on these, or I will set them on a bench stone and put a rag underneath them so they don't slip. And I'll use this as my sharpening platform. And these are great because it's the same thing. These are bound in a type of epoxy, I would say. The guy that makes these, I've talked to him a few times. He's never really told me exactly what they're bound in, but you have diamond basically from here to here. And then you would flatten these in a very similar method to your regular water stones, which is on a glass plate with then a layer of aluminum oxide. And then you just do it. Or you can use the aluminum oxide, a Nagura stone like I have, and then you clean it up. And you can see that these act a lot more like water stones. You get a lot better feedback than you do on these diamond plates. You get a lot more life, but you do run into some things like they act like a regular water stone. They chip at the edges. Same with these. These will chip at the corners and edges. You can see here, but that's easy to fix. You just take a diamond file, or as I've said, I do use these for things. A lot of times I will knock the edges off of those with one of these stones. So if you really want to know what I use these stones for, this stone is absolutely just for reprofiling. Like if I know I have to remove a ton of material and I don't want to dish out one of these more expensive stones, I will use this. This really isn't that expensive. These can get pricey. So this is a fairly aggressive stone here. You got a 100 grit on one side, I think 400 on this side. This is 1,000 grit, and 8,000 grit. So you just have to remember which side is which. But these are great and they suit my purposes. And I do like the fact that you can get a lot of cutting power in a small stone and still get a good end result on some of those steels that are harder to sharpen that you would typically get these for. And I think that you wind up spending so much more money in the long run on these because you got to replace them and you got to replace them and you got to replace them over and over again. And some of these stones are expensive. The DMT stones are super expensive. They're comparable in price to these. And so over the course of a lifetime of sharpening knives with stones, you're going to save money just by getting a good quality stone. Now, there is another option that is even better than these. I can't afford one. And that is Big Brown Bear's, vitrified diamond stones that he has. Those are amazing. I've gotten to see the vitrified CBN. I've gotten to see the vitrified diamond. I've sharpened on them at shows. They are amazing, but unfortunately I cannot afford those. But these work really well for my day-to-day sharpening for customers, and I have a lot of them. These are all different diamonds, all the way up through different grits in different formats. Here's a very, very coarse stone. And the nice thing is they hold up really well. And like I said, the second you clean this up, you've removed the top layer and you've exposed brand new clean diamond, and it's going to work really well for you. And you don't have to do that all that often. A lot of times you just clean this up like that. A lot of that is just metal dust. Take this to sink, brush it with a brush, clean up some of that loading that you've got on the stones. And then when you feel like you've got a little bit of a dish or it just doesn't feel like it's cutting, then you take it to the sink and you just remove that top layer. So if you're somebody that likes diamond plates, that's fine. I just think that like some of these super expensive sharpening systems that use the diamond plates are really, really bilking you for a lot of money because you're going to have to replace those. Like Wicked Edge used them. I know that they have now some options for other things, but Wicked Edge used these DMT plates. So did the KME. And so in the long run, if you're sharpening a lot of knives, something like this is more of your option. Plus, I personally think that you should learn how to freehand sharpen. These ones right here, these square ones, these double-sided ones are great because they're big enough to sharpen almost any knife, and you've got good purchase, and you can just stick these in a pack and take care of them. You can see this one, these probably do need flattened a little bit, but they've held up really, really well for a really long time. So that's it, guys. Like I said, not anything. If you like the DMT style stones, that's fine. But I just think that I would not recommend those. So guys, like I said, if these are the stones you like, then stick with them. I just personally don't like how long they last, and I don't really like how they feel. You don't get that natural waterstone feel that you get from the other options I showed you. The diamond matrix stones from Edge Pro, if you're comfortable on a narrower stone, Or you can go to Gritomatic and pick up some of those centered diamond stones. They have a ton of stones there. And I think they have larger bench stones. I'm personally just comfortable with the smaller stones. They don't take up as much space. I can use them just the same. But they give you a longer life, and I feel that they give you a better edge. I just feel like the edge on them is a higher quality. If you guys want to support the channel, like, share, subscribe, drop a comment. Those are the best things you can do. But if you want to support the channel financially, handful of ways. I did not mention a sponsor in this video, but I do have Coffee Brand Coffee and Tempered Trail as sponsors. They share a coupon code of Crazy Sharp, all one word, Crazy Sharp. Use it. It saves you 5% at checkout at both those vendors. On Coffee Brand Coffee, if you use the link, it is built in, and you're going to get some really good quality coffee. It's the only coffee I drink at this point. Over 5,000 reviews, 3,100 of them or more are 5-star reviews. I have also got an Amazon store. You can take that link that's down there for the Amazon store. You can pin it to your browser, use it to do any Amazon shopping you're going to do. It supports the channel. It does not cost you anything at checkout. And I have a tier-based membership where everyone gets access to my Gilded server. The baseline and premium tier members are entered into giveaways that I do on the Gilded server, separate of the stuff that I do on YouTube. And the premium guys have access to a sharpening tutorial series here on YouTube behind that paywall. Guys, that's it on this one. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section, and I will see you in the next video.